Here is a schematic for the system that you're going to be seeing in this series of videos. So we got the shower, of course, which is your source. We got the diversion area. Now this diversion area is where we divert the water that was normally going straight to the sewer. We're going to divert it now and go into the Greywater system. We're going to move it out to the front lawn. Here is a picture of it, and one thing I'd like to tell you is that we have a video on how to do everything inside here, how to cut the pipe, how to route it, everything. Then it goes to the filter feeder pipe, and then the filter feeder pipe, it goes into the filter. Here is a photo of the filter, and we have videos on how to build this filter. The one thing I'd like to say right now is that all the parts and all the supplies, everything can be purchased from Lowe's. This also includes the Aquifer pipe, the expanders, everything. And you can get all the links from our website. So all you need to do is go to our website and you'll find the whole list of everything. You click there and then it'll take you directly to Lowe's. And then at Lowe's, you just order online and then you can pick everything up right at the front door. And then from the filter, it goes to the feeder header pipe. Now this is the pipe that runs from the filter straight out to the front lawn, and then it goes into the trenches. Once we go into the trenches, now it's called the header pipe. Because right here, between here and here, we have a drop. Now this drop is very important. What it does is that it creates what they call head. What that means is that the water, it builds up pressure and it builds up velocity. And it's very important to have this because once it gets past this drop, the rest of the system is all level. So you need that pressure, you need that velocity of the water coming off of this drop to push it all the way down to the very end of the aquifer pipes through the whole yard. Okay? So now we're in the trenches, and this is your header pipe going straight down. And then from there, we branch off into the aquifer pipes. Now, let's talk about the gravity flow and everything else right now. So, this is a whole gravity flow system, okay? So the shower is gravity flow into diversion. And then from the diversion, it's gravity flow into the filter feeder pipe. Now this filter feeder pipe has a slight decline on it so that it could go into the actual filter. Now from the filter, if you see the filter, you got the filter on top and then you got the surge tank on the bottom, so that's gravity. And then once it comes out of the filter, this feeder header pipe has a slight decline all the way down into this junction right here when it drops into the header pipe. But once it hits this header pipe here, and it's into this trench here, this is all level. This is level, aquifer pipe trenches are level, everything is level. And the header pipe is level, and the aquifer pipes are level. The one thing that we do have is we have videos on how to make these trenches, how to keep them straight, and how to keep them level, that they're all at the same depth. So check out our videos on how to dig the trenches, and it gives you great detail on how to do that. Now there's something very important to know. The reason why it's gravity flow is because for Greywater systems, you need to keep it a simple system, meaning it's gravity flow. This will allow you to have a low to almost $0 permit. So when you go get your permit, you tell them it's gravity flow. Do not hold the water for longer than 24 hours, and it's called a simple system, and the permits run about $300 to sometimes it's nothing. So, but if you had it pressurized, then it's going to cost you some money, almost $1,200 in some areas. Now, the reason why it's completely level once it hits the trenches is because it needs to have an equal distribute of water throughout the whole system. Now, this next thing I'm going to tell you is very important. The first thing you want to do is you want to lay the header pipe in its trench without gluing it, without doing anything, and just level it. Get it level, get it straight. Now the next thing you want to do is you start here at the very end and you get this aquifer pipe all built out. You watch our videos on how to get this whole aquifer pipe ready to go. Put the end riser on it, you put the pipe, you use a coupler to extend it out, you cut it, you put the reducing coupler on there, you get it all set, and first thing you do before you start doing the water test, before you start leveling it, is make sure it's level to the header pipe. That header pipe is your reference point. That is your starting point. So this aquifer pipe needs to be level to this header pipe. And then once you have it level to this header pipe, and now you can start the water test procedure, but you do not move this front area. You can lift the middle, you can lift the back, you can do whatever you want to do to get this thing level, but do not move it from where it's already level to the header pipe. Now, once you got the aquifer pipe, you've done the water test and you leveled it, and then you follow our video where you tuck in the dirt, and then you fill it in with some more dirt. You got it all nice and secure. Come back over here, you take off our temporary 90 that we have on there, and then you actually connect it to the header pipe. Okay? Then you come back to the very end, and then you put on the end riser, the last part of the end riser, and you put the white cap on there. And now you can fill this one in as much as you want with the trenching. Okay? And then you go to your next one. Again, you build out the aquifer pipe, you put the couplers on there, you bring it out, you put the end risers, you put the reducing coupler, you get it all set, and first thing you do before you start doing the water test, before you start leveling it, is you make sure it's level to the header pipe first. After you have that all secured, you got this front end all nice and level to the header pipe, then you do the water test. Bring up the middle, bring down the middle, bring up the end, bring down the end, whatever you have to do to do the water test. We got the video on that. You can watch that, get that all nice and secure, do the tucking, fill it in with dirt, put some dirt on top of it to get it all secured, and then you come back here and you take off the little adapter we have and you attach it to the header pipe. Then you go to the next one. Okay, so it's very important that all of these trenches, all the pipes and all these trenches here are all level to each other so that all the water gets distributed to all the different aquifer pipes equally, because that's what you want. You want all of these to have the same amount of water, or you're going to get into brown spots. So that is a schematic, give you an overview of the complete system and what you're going to be seeing in the upcoming videos. So see you in the next one. Okay, in this video we're going to talk about how to plan out your aquifer pipes, how many you're going to need, and spacing. For planning out the diversion, the filter pipe, filter feeder pipe, and filter, we got other videos for that. But let's just talk about the aquifer pipes themselves. So for a lawn, you want it 3 feet center. So in the center of the trench, you mark and you come down to the next one, and then you get your 3 feet. For drought tolerant or landscape, you want to space it 6 to 8 feet. Now this is just a ballpark. What you do, some people, because they want to save a little bit of money, they'll put it 4 feet. But this is what we have found works the best. Now, the one thing you got to take into consideration is that if you have 2 pipes or more, especially if you have 4 pipes, you're going to have to experiment to see if you need to break this off into zones, okay? Because there's just not enough water to come through. So if you think about it, the water's going to come down the header pipe. It's going to fill up this pipe here, okay? And then automatically the soil is going to start wicking it up. And by the time the water starts filling up this pipe and then it gets all the way down to here, there's not going to be that much water left for this last pipe. Because this right here is wicking up all the water, and then this right here is barely getting any water. So what you need to do is you need to break it off into zones. Switching from one zone to the next is very common with irrigation systems. It's just like turning on one sprinkler system or the next. So here's a picture of us doing two zones right here. We haven't installed the valve yet that's going to switch between the two. There's a lot of different type of valves you can use. The one that we prefer is a stepper valve. This valve, when it senses water, it switches from one zone to the next automatically. There's nothing electrical to hook up, and there's nothing manual that you have to move. It's a mechanical valve that moves from one zone to the next automatically. And they come in many configurations from just 2 output all the way up to 6. Another type is the electric valves. And you set these up to a timer, and the timer switches it from one zone to the next. Another common one is just a manual valve. It looks just like a faucet. All you're going to do is just reduce the water that will go from this one compared to this one. Some people use a mechanical 3-way valve here, and then to remind them to go turn it once a week from one to the next is when they go put out their garbage cans. So when they go put out the garbage cans on the way back, they just turn the switch from one side to the next side. Hope that helps you understand how many aquifer pipes you're going to need, and also if you're going to need zones. All right, see you in the next video. When planning out where to put the filter, there are two main aspects to think about: the functionality and then the aesthetics. So let's go with the functionality. First thing you need to consider is that you're going to need to take off the top. This is so that you can replace the filter. The other thing too is, where is the filter feeder pipe going to come from? How is the water going to get into the filter? The next thing is, what's the path for the feeder header pipe? This is a pipe that's going to be going out to the header pipe. What route is that going to take? One of the most common things that we have done is we take the shortest path from the diversion area to the outside wall. And that's where the filter is going to go. Now that we're on the outside, now it's all about aesthetics. Some customers' houses are set up to where the filter is not seen from the street, while others it's in plain sight, and they don't want the filter to be seen from the street. Because of this, we've come up with some pretty creative ways of camouflaging it. We've hid them behind rocks. Sometimes we just planted a shrub right in front of it. We have one filter that looks like a planter. It actually has a living plant on top of it. Other times we use our sump pump configuration. This whole unit sits underground, and there is a pump that pumps the water up and then out. And once it comes out, it's all gravity flow from there. Another issue to consider is it going to be tampered with? Some people put it on shelves, and we also have some filters that have a screw on top. These are tamper-proof filters. There are many different configurations for filters. All you need to do is decide on your situation. Look at our video for filters, where we go through a lot of the types that we have used in the past, and then decide on which one you want to use. Watch our installation videos, and you'll see the different configurations that we have used. And as always, you can give us a call, and we can help you out as well. All right, we'll see you on the next video. In this video, we are going to do a walkthrough. This is going to give you a really good overview of what was already there before we started installing the aquifer pipes. It's also going to give you a good overview of the system and how everything connects together. Now this is where the filter feeder pipe is coming out of the house. Now this house is raised, so it's pretty easy to go underneath there and do the diversion. And you can see how we did all that in a video. Just check out our video on our website. This, of course, is going into the filter. Now these are actually two totes stacked on top of each other. You'll see that in our other videos on how to build one. This is the filter, and this is the surge tank. And down here is called the feeder header pipe. Now the customer didn't care so much about the filter box being on the side of the house, because as you can see, it's on the side of the house between the wall of the neighbor and his house. Now he decided not to bury the feeder header pipe because nobody's going to be back here on this side of the house. But if you are going to bury it, make sure it's about 1 or 2 inches of topsoil on top of it. So it'll be about 4 inches deep. Now, if you're going to be burying this pipe and people are going to be walking at it, you are going to have to go a little bit deeper and you're going to have to pack it in. One thing to take in consideration, this is gravity flow. So you're going to have a slope going from where the filter box is up to the front of the house. Now the slope doesn't have to be a lot. It just has to be a little bit. This is gravity flow and the gravity will pull it to the front of the house. But believe it or not, most houses are higher in the back and they slope to the front lawn. Now if your house is different and the back of the house is actually lower than the front, you will need to use a sump pump. Now we have videos on our website on how to build a sump pump. Now back there is the filter, and then right there you can see the feeder pipe. It's going underground right there, and then it's coming out right here. The customer already put in one aquifer pipe. You can see it right there. It's been feeding his yard. He did it in sections because he wanted to wait till the other part of the yard became softer. What some people will do, they'll install the feeder pipe, and then he attached the hose to the end of the pipe so that it would water the lawn. He just put the hose right on top of the lawn. Sometimes they just let the pipe come straight to right there, and then they just let it stop right about here, and it just floods the yard with shower water. And they do that again just to soften up the yard. It's a way of using your shower water instead of a precious tap water to soften up the ground. One thing to take in consideration, see how it's going into the ground right there? And then it comes out right here. Notice that it's higher than the actual trench. And the reason why that is because when you tee off on the aquifer pipes, you need pressure. You need what's called a head. And that's going to fall down like a waterfall, creating pressure that's going to push the water into the aquifer. And again, this is all gravity flow. So this is the header pipe coming this way. Some people call it the main line. And this aquifer pipe going this way. I'm going to back up so you get a really good perspective. Again, this is the header pipe here, and this is where the aquifer pipes go this way. One thing to know about the trenches here on the aquifer pipes. For a lawn, it's recommended to be 3 feet on center. So right here in the center of these two trenches, another one's going to go right down the center of these two. The reason why they don't do all the trenches at once is because you need room to put the dirt. Now it's very important to put the same dirt back into the trenches. If you mix different types of dirt, the water doesn't transfer from one type of dirt to the next. So it's very important to use a native dirt right back into the trench. So a lot of people do, they lay the aquifer pipes in different phases. So right here in front of the house, there is actually already an aquifer pipe. He has done this about 4 months ago. You can actually see a hole right here where the aquifer pipe is. It's running like this. He did that on his first phase. And now we're working on the second phase. And then there's going to be a third phase where he puts the last aquifer pipe down the center between those trenches. So you don't have to do them all at the same time. Now, if you wanted to do all this in one weekend or in a quicker time, you lay these in first, and then you fill in the trenches, and then you start digging your next one. We do that a lot with a lot of our projects. We do it all in one weekend. One thing to note here is if you're looking at these trenches, they're not perfectly straight. One thing is, for the aquifer pipe, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight, but we generally get them a little bit straighter than this. We have other videos on how to trench. Watch those videos. We go into great detail on how we use spikes. We use plumbing ropes, and those ropes will help you get almost exactly 1 foot in depth and also pretty darn straight. So watch the other videos for that. All right, I hope this gave you a good overview of the system, of how it looks before we start installing aquifer pipes. where all the pipes are going to run. It gives you a good idea on how simple these systems are and how easy they are to install. All right, we'll see you on the next videos. Okay, in this video, we're going to be showing you how to drill the seep holes. This is the first step when you're installing the aquifer pipe. Now these holes are drilled on the both sides of the inner wall of the aquifer pipe. The one thing that we have found is to do this on a hard concrete surface. This helps prevent the drill bit from going all the way over to the other side. Now we're going to be drilling these holes with a 1/4 inch drill bit. Now these holes are placed about a 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch from the bottom and about 1 foot to 10 inches apart. They don't have to be exact. Just randomly down both sides of the aquifer pipe. When we're done drilling all these holes, the next thing you want to do is you want to clean it. You want to remove all the debris from the pipe. Now, if there's any plastic hanging on the holes, you especially want to remove that. Because if any hair, lint, or anything gets caught on there, it will plug up that hole. We don't want that. Now, if you do go to the other side, we have a video on how to repair the aquifer pipe. All right, I hope this gives you a good example on how to drill the holes. The next thing to do is to assemble the end riser. And so we'll see you on the next video. Okay, in this video, we are going to show you how we assemble this end riser. This goes at the end of the aquifer pipe. The purpose of this is, if you notice, there's an elbow and then there's the actual riser part of it. And the purpose of it is that when the aquifer pipe gets filled up with water, this becomes like a reservoir, if you will. The water goes up the 90 and into that riser area. And this is to give the soil time to absorb the water, to wick it up. So as the soil starts wicking it up, as it starts absorbing it, the water just goes down into the aquifer pipe. Now we build this in 2 phases. The first phase is with the riser off. This top portion here, we do not put it on. And the reason is, if we put that riser on there, the aquifer pipe becomes top heavy. But once the aquifer pipe is level and tucked in and it's all ready to be buried, then we put that riser on there. So I'd like to point out the different parts right now. So right here is the expander. Now the expander does exactly what it says. It expands the aquifer pipe and pushes it against the 90. The aquifer pipe has a tendency to bow in. So we use the expander to push it up against the 90 when we're gluing it. The other purpose for the expander is to keep the dirt out. Notice how there's dirt right here? Well, it keeps it out of the system. Now this 90 is a standard 3-inch 90 that you could buy from Lowe's. This riser right here was a 10-foot 3-inch pipe, and we cut it down to 6 inches. And this white cap, you just buy it directly from Lowe's. Now this white cap, you do not glue. We use it in case if we ever need to go inside and clean out the aquifer pipe. But we've had these installed already for 4 years, and we went back to check some of the aquifer pipes, and there was almost little to no sediment inside there. But we go ahead and put this white cap on there and do not glue it, just as a convenient clean out. All right, now we're going to go through step by step on how to assemble this end riser. Okay, here are the parts that you're going to need. This right here is a 3-inch 90. This right here is a 6-inch 3-inch pipe that was cut from a 10-foot 3-inch pipe. It was just cut to size. This right here is what they call a test cap. This right here is the expander. You purchase this at the same time when you purchase the aquifer pipe. Now, all these parts can be purchased from Lowe's, and you could get links to it from our website. Just go to our website, greywatergreen.com, go to the Shop tab, click on Products, and there you're going to find all the links to all these products. You can buy them from Lowe's, you can order them online, and then just drive up and they'll have them right there at the front door for you. Okay, now we're going to glue everything together. So the first thing you want to glue is the outside of the aquifer pipe. Do not glue inside the channel. Very important. Do not glue inside the channel, only the outside. Next, you're going to glue the bottom of the 90, only the bottom. Do it like a half moon. Do not glue all the way around in a circle, only the half moon. Now you join them both together, flip it over, and then you insert the expander. Now the expander is going to push the walls of the aquifer pipe to the 90, so that's a real tight fit. Now it's very important to do not get any glue on that expander. That expander is styrofoam. It will melt. So that's why we do not put any glue in the inside of the channel. We do not put any glue on the top of the 90, because that styrofoam will melt. Okay, I want to show you from a different angle. So first, put glue on the 90. Again, you're only doing a half moon. You're not doing the whole circle, only a half moon. Then do the bottom of the aquifer pipe. Do not do the channel. Put them both together and then insert the expander. The expander is going to push the walls of the aquifer pipe up against the walls of the 90. Now you can place the aquifer pipe into the trench. If you notice, there is the other part of the riser. You'll glue this on once all the aquifer pipes are all glued together and after the water level procedure is done and all the aquifer pipes have been tucked in with dirt. Then you'll glue this section on. All right, I hope this helps you understand how to make the end riser and get this portion all connected together. The next step is connecting two aquifer pipes together. We'll see you at the next video. All right, in this video, we're going to show you how to connect two aquifer pipes together. Now, if you see this long run here, well, right here is the actual coupler. This is what actually joins the two of them together. Now, this is a coupler. When it's not glued in, this is what it looks like. Now, what we want to do is we want to get these pipes to go right center. So we want this much to be from one pipe and this much to be from the other pipe. So we don't want it to be too much on one end or too much on the other. We want it to be just right in the center of this coupler. So the first thing that we do is we lay both pipes together and then we put the coupler right on top of it. We just lay it on top and then we use a Sharpie to mark on one side and then we use a Sharpie to mark on the other side. And now what we do is we glue it. Now you want to glue all the way around it. Do from the inside of the channel, on the back side, everything. You just put all that glue on there. And then you slide the coupler on and you go all the way until you get to where the Sharpie mark is. And once you get that one in place, then you grab the next aquifer pipe, put glue all the way around the aquifer pipe on the next one. Again, all the way around it, including the channel. And then you slide it into the coupler. And this will put the coupler dead center equally on both aquifer pipes. All right, I hope this helps you understand how to join two aquifer pipes together. Okay, your next step is how to measure your final aquifer pipe, the pipe that goes at the end of the run. So please watch that before you cut the aquifer pipe or glue it in place. And we'll see you at the next video. In this video, we're going to show you how to get the correct measurement. So when you cut your last section of the aquifer pipe, it ends at the correct length within the trench. Now this is getting to the front end of the run where it's connecting to the header. It's very important not to cut the aquifer pipe while it's connected to the other pipes. And also, do not cut it while it's in the trench. This video is just to show you how to measure it so you can cut the pipe outside of the trench. Watch our video on how to cut the aquifer pipe. We give some really good tips on how to do that. The aquifer pipe should stop 6 inches before the beginning of the header trench. Okay, right here, we're just showing you the importance of stopping 6 inches before the beginning of the header trench. But please do not connect the aquifer pipe to the actual header. There are still 4 more steps to do before you make this connection. Now, if you see it right here, this is when it's all completed. Okay, we got the reducer coupler on there, we got the T, but if you notice right there is where the aquifer pipe actually ended. That's where we cut it at. And this gave us enough room, enough wiggle room, using that pipe right there. It gave us enough room to actually put the pipe in. If you cut it over here, you're going to end up having to cut the aquifer pipe. You're going to have to move the header pipe. But since we cut it from back here, we use this centerpiece to actually make the difference. And that's very important. Because again, this difference on all the other aquifer pipes, you're going to see it in the other trenches, is different. So they're going to vary from one to the next. So let's go look at the other one. So if you notice that this pipe looks the same distance, but it's not. It's about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch shorter. But because we stopped here, but that's what gave us the wiggle room. It gave us the ability to have that adjustment. Okay, now here's another look at another aquifer pipe. If you notice, it's cut shorter than the actual trench of the header pipe. And that's what we want, because that's going to give us the room to actually connect it. So here we are measuring it, and we're going to cut the pipe 6 inches from the beginning of the header trench. This is the beginning of the header trench. Come back 6 inches, and that gives us the length of the pipe. And now we know how long to cut the pipe. All right, I hope that gave you enough information to know how to measure out your final aquifer pipe, the importance of measuring it 6 inches back from the beginning of the header trench so that you can finish off your run. Your next step is gluing on the reducer coupler. So we'll see you on that video. Okay, in this video, we're going to show you how to glue on the reducing coupler. Now you do this right after you get done putting on your last part of the aquifer pipe. And this is called the front end of the aquifer pipe. Now here are the parts you're going to need. You're going to need the reducer coupler. This is a 3-inch to 1.5 inch reducer coupler. The other thing you're going to need is an expander. And of course, the aquifer pipe. The expander is used to push the walls of the aquifer pipe up against the reducer. If you see here, aquifer pipe has a tendency to bow in. So we use the expander to push it out up against the wall of the reducer when we're gluing it. The other purpose of the expander is to keep dirt from going into the system. Okay, now let's glue this all together. One thing to know is that this expander is styrofoam. So that means that if any glue gets on it, it will melt it. The glue will melt the styrofoam. So because of that, Right here, we're just gluing the bottom portion of the reducer coupler. We're making a half moon. And right here, we're putting glue on just the bottom portion of the aquifer pipe. Do not put it in the channel. Now we put them both together, and then we push the expander in. Okay, and the next thing to do now is to level the aquifer pipe to the header. So look for that video, and we'll see you there. Okay, in this video, we're going to show you how to level the aquifer pipe to the header. It's important that you level the aquifer pipe to the header because the header is the reference point. It's the starting point. Because everything in the trenches are all level to each other. It's all gravity flow. So they all have to be level to each other so that the water gets pushed evenly throughout the whole system. And the header pipe is the reference point. It's the starting point for all the aquifer pipes. So the first thing you want to do is just lay the header pipe in the trench. Do not cut it, do not glue it, do not do anything. Just lay it in the trench and then check to see if it's level. If it's not, go ahead and level that. That will be your starting point. The next thing to do is put a temporary 6-inch extender into the reducer coupler. Now what you're able to do is use the level to see if it's level to the header. Now that you got that level, secure the aquifer pipe with some dirt so that it doesn't move around. Just tuck it in on the sides, but leave the channel open because the next thing we're going to do is do the water level procedure. This is to get the complete aquifer pipe level, but it's going to be level to this front end. This front end should not move. Now when you do the water level procedure, you can move the middle, you can move the back, you can do anything else, but do not move this front. What we're essentially going to be doing is level the aquifer pipe to this front end, which is level to the header. In the next video, we're going to show you how to do the water leveling procedure. All right, see you there. Okay, in this video, we're going to show you how to do the water leveling procedure. What it means is that we're going to level the pipe using water. What you're seeing is an example of when it's all done correctly. It's all level and it's all ready to go. Now the object here is for the water to be coming out of the seep holes equally from one end of the pipe to the next. In this example here, you see that the water is level throughout the whole pipe. And the aquifer pipe is like a cookie sheet. You know, you just tilt it one way, tilt it the other, and you'll find that the water will become equal. Now it's very important that you do not move the front end. You can move the back end, you can move the middle, you can do everything else, but you have to keep that front end. That is your reference because that is level with the header pipe. Okay, now let's get started on doing it. So the first thing you need to do is you need to make this little adapter. And what this is, it just keeps the water from flowing out the front of the pipe. And all it is a 1.5-inch pipe cut to about 4 inches and a 90. And you don't glue it when you put it into the reduced coupler. Next thing you're going to do, you're going to get a hose and you can put it into the end riser. You just turn on the hose and then you're going to see the water start coming out from all the seep holes. If you see it starting to overflow, that's when you turn off the hose. The next step is you just grab dirt and you just start leveling it. You put it underneath some sections and sometimes you have to dig to remove dirt to lower it in some sections. You keep on adjusting it until you see the water come out of all the seep holes from the front end of the pipe all the way towards the back. And you also make sure that it's not overflowing in one area and it's not dry in the other. Sometimes what we do is after we get it level, we take off the front end adapter just to let the water come out, put it back on, and then run the water again just to make sure that the water is coming out equally through all the seep holes. Now that it's all level, we could glue on the end riser. It's that last portion. Kept that off just to keep the aquifer pipe getting top heavy. Okay, now the next step is very important that you do it correctly, or you're going to unlevel the pipe, and that is burying the pipe. There is a process of doing this. We do it very gradually, so please watch the next video on how to bury the pipe, and we give you all the details on how to do that. So again, do not just pour dirt on top of the aquifer pipe. You will cause it to go unlevel. So we'll see you on the next video. In this video, we're going to show you how to bury the aquifer pipes. Now that you have them all level, it's time to start burying them. Now it's very important you just don't start throwing dirt right on top of them. You'll make them unlevel if you did that. You have to remember there are gaps underneath the aquifer pipes. You want to do this slowly so you can tuck the dirt underneath it. So the first thing that we do is we just put dirt on the sides of them. Then the next thing is we come in with our hands and we push the dirt underneath them. You could also use the trawl if you need to get more dirt in and scoop it underneath them. And you slowly work from the end of the pipe all the way to the front. And once you've got the pipe all nice and tucked, now you can start just putting dirt right on top of it. The next step is to connect the aquifer pipe to the header pipe. So we'll see you on the next video. In this video, we're going to show you how to connect the aquifer pipe to the header pipe. Here is a quick view of what it looks like when the aquifer pipe is connected to the header. Now the first step you want to do is you want to just lay the header pipe into the trench. Do not glue it, do not cut it, anything. And all you're going to do right now is just level it. You just want to level the header pipe. You start on the last aquifer pipe furthest away from the drop. Right here you see that the aquifer pipe is getting ready to be connected. The first thing we do is make sure that the header pipe is level. The next thing you want to do is you want to cut the pipe that's going to be used for going between the reducer coupler and the T. But just measure it all the way up to the header. This is going to tell you exactly where to put your T. Now he just places the T right on top of the header pipe and he marks it where the T ends. That is not where you're going to cut it. What you do is you use a measuring tape and you come back 3/4 of an inch. And that is where you're going to actually cut it at. So if you see there's two marks. The first mark is the end of the T, and then 3/4 inch back is the actual cut, because you need to make up that depth of the T. Now he's going to cut it. Okay, one thing to notice is on these T's, you notice that we put them in the flow of the water. So you see how it comes, the water comes this way and it goes that way. The water is going that way. Sometimes people put it in backwards and then we have to come back and change them, but this is the flow of the water. This is the beginning of the entry point of the header pipe, and it flows this way. So you want to put the T in the correct way. And then the water goes right up into the aquifer pipe. Okay, I hope that gave you a good description on how to connect the aquifer pipe to the header pipe. The next step is to connect the header pipe to the feeder header pipe. Okay, in this video what we're going to show you is how to connect the header pipe to the feeder header pipe. It's pretty straightforward. All you do is just use a 90 going up to the feeder pipe, and then you just add this little extension right here, and then use another 90 to connect it. In this image you're seeing two zones, but the principle is the same on both sides. In the other video in this series, you've seen that we used a red cap or a T on the very top. You don't always have to do that. You could just use 190 at the bottom and another 90 at the top. Now that you have it all connected, you can run a test. Just turn on the shower water and make sure it's coming out of the aquifer pipes. Once you've done all that, all you need to do is bury everything. And now you can enjoy your Greywater system. It's very easy to do. Just need a little bit of plumbing skills. If you have any questions or need any assistance, feel free to give us a call. We're more than glad to help you out over the phone, or if you're in the LA area, we'll even stop by and help you out. From all of us at Greywater Green, we thank you, and now you can be proud of how you water your lawn, garden, or landscape. Take care.